Hello, welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. It's a hot day here today, and I know that so many people are having extreme heat, but it's cool inside. So I wanted to share a recipe out of my Volume 2 cookbook, and it's a pound cake by Miss Billie Earl Brasher. Now, I have made, I know, 2 different pound cakes since I've been doing videos. Both of them are delicious. This one is a little bit different and it's special. I shared with you a while back her Mexican cornbread recipe, and oh my goodness, it's so good. And this lady, she is with Jesus right now, but her granddaughter gave me this recipe, and I'm just honored to have it in my cookbook and to be able to share with you. Now, the recipe calls for 8 ounces of cream cheese, and I'm going to put that in here. And now, I have had these out on my counter for a while to soften. Then, you're going to put 3 sticks of butter, and I use real butter. I don't use margarine. This is salted butter. So the recipe also calls for a pinch of salt, and I'm only going to put a tiny pinch. But I use salted butter most of the time. There's very few recipes that I use unsalted, but it really doesn't matter. I just like the taste of it. If you only have unsalted, you use it and it'll be fine. Alright, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to cream this I'm going to cream it. It's very soft, so it shouldn't take very long. Alright, I'm going to scrape the sides down, but it really looks like it is mixed. And I'm going to give it another couple of whirls. And the recipe calls for 3 cups of sugar. So I'm going to gradually add a little bit at a time. Mixing that really well. Scrape the sides. I like to take, when I have chemo, I like to take my nurses a little treat, and I've carried them pound cake before and they love it. Now, it calls for 6 eggs, 1 at a time, and I'm putting it in here, cracking them 1 at a time, because these are yard eggs, and just want to make sure before I put them in that they're good. I know they're going to be yellow, real yellow. Now see, I don't like the way that one looks. Okay. Didn't like the way that yolk looks. Here, I'll just brought me another one. the yolk is so much brighter. My son-in-law has chickens and they live next door, and I'm really glad because eggs are really getting expensive. And one more makes 6 eggs. Scrape the sides down before I add anything else. You know, I don't know how many people make pound cakes. I know us older ladies do. But that was kind of a staple growing up that my mama and my aunts made all the time. Was pound cakes, and we would have fruit with it or whatever. Now the recipe calls for 1½ teaspoons of vanilla. Alright, I'm going to lower this because now I have 3 cups of, I'm using cake flour, but if you don't have cake flour, you use all-purpose. The cake flour, to me, is a good bit lighter seeming. But I have used all-purpose when I didn't have cake flour. I've preheated my oven to 325 degrees. Alright. Let me add the rest of this flour. It's 3 cups I measured it out. A pound cake is one that if you have a stand mixer, to me it's better to make it with that because I think they're called a pound cake because they're heavy, and it just mixes it so much better. But if you don't, hey, our grandmamas, or my grandmama, probably didn't even have an electric pan mixer. They probably used this mixer right here. Scrape this side where the flour is on it and let it go for a little bit longer. I think Miss Billie Earl cooked hers in a bundt pan. And I have a bundt pan, but I have this. This was my aunt's pound cake or tube pan. And it's heavy and it's taller. And that's the reason I like to use it. Now, I sprayed mine with Baker's Joy. This is what it is. And Baker's Joy it has the spray with flour. You know, if you don't have that, use Crisco to grease it real good. Then sprinkle you some flour in it and hit it around so that it's kind of coated in flour also. Just a little bit more, and then Harold's going to help me with this because it's heavy. One day I'm going to be strong again, and I can do this by myself. Okay, let me move this out of the way. Put this here, but I got to... Oh, it's going to be good. Now, this has to bake on 325 for an hour and a half. All right? And we're just going to put this. And then I'll move it around. If you eat some pound cake, it's good by itself, but oh my, if you put peaches or strawberries and a little bit of vanilla ice cream, that's what Harold's thinking about. Tell him what's your favorite ice cream.
Bluebell vanilla. Bluebell vanilla.
He'd rather have it than any. I'm going to put the rest that's in there in just a little dish because I don't want this to cook out. And sometimes as it rises, it might. Well, I think I can. I have one recipe that I specifically tell you, I think it's in volume 1 of my cookbooks, to not put every bit of it in there because I can tell you from experience, I ran it over. But anyway, I kind of do this just to kind of get the air bubbles out, and I'm going to put it in my stove that has preheated to 325 for an hour and a half, and we're going to turn you off right now, so we'll be back. The cake cooked for an hour and a half, and as you can see, it's so tall and just, my kitchen smells so good right now. I let it cool in the pan for about 20 minutes. It's still warm to touch, but I think I'm going to go ahead and cut a piece. I know it would be better if I let it cool before I do, but I just wanted you to see how pretty this cake is. Oh my goodness. That is almost as big as this bread plate right here. Like I said, this cake is in my volume 2 on page 48. It's just called a pound cake, but it's by Miss Billie Earl Brasher. I think if you try this, you're going to love it. Just absolutely love it. And, you know, you can always make one and share a piece. Every time I've made pound cake to take to my nurses, they really like the pound cake. So that's probably what I'm going to take them the next time. But anyway, this morning I was reading in my Bible, and the where it's found has left me right now. But what it says is to think on things that are good, that are true, that are praiseworthy. Y'all, let's not think about all the bad that's happening, because there's plenty of that, but let's think about the good. I'm reading a book that I think it's called 1,000 Gifts by Ann Voskamp, I think is her last name. And anyway, she talks about look for gifts that God gives us every day. And this morning, I was riding down the road and I looked and I saw a mimosa tree. And I said, thank you, God, because that reminds me of when I was a little girl. You don't see a lot of them here where we are now, but there was one, and it just reminded me, I could even smell it. But that's a gift that God gives us. He gives us things every day if we just search for them. So be intentional in looking for things that God does for us every day. Be salt and light. This is one of my new aprons. You can, if you want an apron or a cookbook, go to my website, mamasuesouthernkitchen.com, and it'll show you how that you can order them. But anyway, thank you so much for being with me. I love y'all. I appreciate you sharing my page and letting others that may not have found Mama Sue know that I'm here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll see you again soon.